Hello YouTube, this is Robert with Twisted Candle Company again. Right now I'm gonna show you how I make my soy third eye cat candles. First thing, obviously you're gonna need your mold. This is the third eye Mystic Cat mold. If you saw my product review that I just uploaded not too long ago from Manuart Net, that's where I found these at. They lock in real well. You need your pitcher for your wax. I've already pre-measured it. I have a pound of wax in here. That's going to give me 2 candles and then a little bit extra. I got my candle wick. I have my lavender. We're going to make 2 lavender cats. So I got my lavender scent. This is from Lone Star Candle Supply in Keller, Texas. I have my purple/violet liquid dye. I prefer the liquid dye over the blocks. I found that I get a little bit more consistency, and it's more. You get more out of it for your money. I think I spend $5 for this bottle versus $1 per block, and yet I find that I can make so many more candles out of these. It just goes a long way. It's very concentrated. I have my rubber bands for my mold, a wick holder. You could use chopsticks or what have you not, whatever you like to use. And then I also have my popsicle sticks. I actually set them on to hold the wick holder. I'll show you why I do that. And then I have a little glass, shot glass that shows you ounces and tablespoons. That's for measuring out my fragrance oil. So we get started. Like I said, I put up 1 pound in here. I got my double boiler here. I already have it filled with water. I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to start the melt process. While it's heating up and melting, we're going to prep our mold. So with my mold here, it kind of, it's rounded. So it, moves like that. So the first use of the popsicle sticks is I'll set them on the side here. I don't have much room here, so we're gonna move on down a little bit so I get the wick on there. And now it no longer rolls. So I get it centered or set up flat. I take my spool of wick. You could use the pre-tabs if you like. I prefer, once again, I get more out of it with the spool of wick. I'll put it dead center. I always want to have a little bit extra. I don't think you can see it very well, but I like to have a little bit extra hanging off. I'll do it up close once I'm done cutting it. Get my scissors. Once again, I want it hanging down a little bit so I got somewhere to hold it. Get that out of the way. So as you can see, let's see how, there you go. I have it sticking out there, and then it's going to be further past there as well, so you got somewhere to hold it. Come back on over here, make sure it's centered. Take the other half of the mold, sandwich it together very gently. These are very flexible molds, so they could shift around on you. And I like to pick it up from the bottom, the thickest part, and get my first rubber band on it, just to kind of hold it in place. And once again, if you saw my last video with the product review, these are the thin rubber bands that they send you, and believe it or not, they work just nicely. So I put them all throughout it, one in the middle, one at the very top, just so you can see all the little gaps sealed up. I like to take one of these thicker ones though, and I'll go and fold it in half like that and try to get at the very bottom to really get the bottom of it sealed up. Which the bottom, if you've ever used molds, you obviously know the bottom is actually technically the top. So that's where the wick will be sitting out. Alright, there you go. So it looks like that. It's all sealed up. Then I take it over here And I like to have the back part of it, not the back of the head facing me, so I don't want to pour onto the detail of the mold, so I pour it on the back side. I'll take a total of 4 popsicle sticks. I take 2 of them, like so, put them on top of each other, put it on one side of the, move that over, maybe you can see better. Put it on one side of the opening, let it sit there, put the other one on. And the reason why I do this is so when I take this wick holder, see, it has a little indentation. If you ever seen my skull video, I think I showed this as well. I don't want that sitting in the bottom. I mean, I could always take my heat gun here. I got this to smooth it out, but it's easier this way to me. And then I take it, put it on there, slide the wick through, done deal. Alright, so now that while that's melting, I'll probably eventually pause this at one point, but real quick, since this one's ready, this was the Bass Cat. We'll go ahead and demold this one. Once again, on my last video, I told you about the how the soy wax doesn't work very well on here, and I'll kind of show you why. You probably get a better idea how easily you can break off the legs. But anyway, so let's see if I get up here closer. There you go. So loosen it up. You can see this part right here. That actually comes disassembles as well to an extent. It doesn't completely come out, but you'll see here in a minute. So I take off the back, put it off to the side. Very carefully, you just loosen it across. Alright. And then this is the part on the soy that would always break. But this is beeswax, it doesn't give me any problems. Kind of just roll that part out a little bit to disengage it very gently. And you pull back. And that separates one middle section of the leg. There you go. Pull this one out like that. And then you still got the middle section. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. So basically, you had one section that went in there, one section went in there, one on the bottom, and then that last one's right in the middle. And usually taking off one of these sides or that middle is going to definitely do it if the one sides didn't do it. On the soy, it just snaps these legs off. I haven't figured out how. I even tried mixing beeswax with the soy to harden it up. Didn't work. And then I just peel off a lot of this so I could cut it. I'll actually take that and throw that back in there. There it is right there. And so you can see how it splits open. Here's that middle section. Here's those sides. And there's that part right there. Alright. And once again, yeah, I think I'm going to order a second one of these because I've been getting a lot of orders for these. And I can't keep them in the shop that I sell at over in Pantego, Texas. A place called Hearth Wisdom Store. So they're very, very good shop. If you're ever in the DFW area or near Arlington, Texas, I definitely recommend checking them out. Hearth Wisdom Store in Pantego, Texas, right next to Arlington. Got all your metaphysical items that you want. Plenty of incense, candles, sage. Great store. Great staff that works there. They're lovely people there. Anyway, so I got that one pulled out. This is still melting. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and pause you for a while and we'll come back once it's melted. Alright, so let's check on our wax. We're going to wipe off this container. It creates a lot of condensation from the steam. Anyways, as you can see, it's halfway there. You'll notice that it's already a little purple. That's because I used a little bit of lavender from a previous batch that was left over. I save everything. I pour them in these little Halloween, what are they called? Melts. You know, you put on the little warmers. So I could either put those out there or I use them for backup. Anyways, it's still melting, so we'll be back. Alright, so we're about done melting the wax. Let's take a look. Just a little bit left in there. Let's stir it around a little bit. I'm going to turn my burner off. While that's still melting just a very little, I'll get my fragrance ready. So for every pound I do between 1 to 1.5 ounces of fragrance. I know most people tell you 1 ounce per pound. It depends on what I'm making. The lavender is pretty strong, so I'm just going to do an ounce. Pour it up to my 1 ounce mark, and then we're going to set that out to the side. It's going to be the last thing we put in before we pour it. And if you notice on it, it has a flash point of 175. That should be the temperature as what you pour it in at. With that being said, a lot of people will tell you, and it even says in the instructions, melt the wax to 185 and let it cool down to 165 before pouring it. Once mine is all liquefied like this, I pour it. I haven't had any issues with it, at least with this wax. I've used some other waxes, I forget the name of it. I didn't like it. I didn't like the wax anyways. I did everything in the instructions and never came out right. I think it was called Golden Brands or something like that. Don't like it myself, but you could try what you like. This here is actually from Nature Gardens, Pillar of Bliss. Alright, so we got it all melted down. Normally I take 2 drops per pound for my lavender. But because I put that wax melt in there, and that was actually from a deeper purple, I'm only going to do 1 drop. In fact, that might still make it more purple than I usually have, but we'll test it out. So get my little dabber here, and just 1 drop. Like I said, normally I do 2. I'll get custom orders from time to time that they want a deep plum purple, and that's what I'll give them. I always want to have plenty of paper towels. I like to use these shop towels. They're the best. Alright, get my spoon. Carefully stir it around. You don't want to shake too much. You don't want to create air bubbles in it. I'll show you. I just stir it around. I know I need to get a better setup here for these videos. Hopefully we can get out of this place and get a bigger place where I can have my own little room. So we got it all stirred around. Take my fragrance, pour in there. I like to put this upside down so then get the rest of the residual out of there. Once again, just carefully not to make any air bubbles. Stir it around ever so gently. Ever so gently. In fact, my apartment here smells like a cookie / flower shop right now. I've been busy making all these orders. I just did a creme brulee, now I got lavender, I have rose, and it's all blending together in the apartment here. Alright, once again, I like to dry off the sides. You don't want any water getting into your mold or in the wax itself. You can actually create an exploding candle if you light it and there's pockets of air where the water was. It could actually scientifically make it explode. Alright, slowly pour it in at the lowest point. But I do it at the back. It starts filling up the air first, and you slowly do it to push out any kind of air bubbles. And then get it all the way to just about the top. Once again, wipe that down. Alright, looks like I ran out of space, so hopefully I can splice this all together as one video, but we'll find out. Anyways, I poured it in there. Afterwards, I like to give it a little tap on the sides, very gently. Kind of push out any other air bubbles. Just like so. And then we'll let it cool down, and I'll show you how I top it off and get the wick prepared and everything. We'll be back. Alright, so the candle is cooled down enough so we could do the second pour. So I come in as close as I can, and I cut off the bottom of the wick. Throw it out like that. Get rid of these popsicle sticks. And without deforming it, see how I left just a little bit of room so I could cover the wick and then pour the other the topping on. Alright, I already pre-melted it while we were waiting. So once again, clean off the bottom, wipe off any condensation, and then we pour up to the very top. Try not to over pour, but if you do, you could always cut off the excess when you demold it. And hopefully, let's see if you can see this. So now it's, whoop, where are you? Where are you? There you go. Now it's filled up to the top. The next step will be the demolding process. So we'll be back for that. This shouldn't take too long. Alright, finally I'm back. 4 hours later. As you can see, I changed my shirt. I'm on call this weekend, so I got called out for a job. Had to fix a cooler. But anyways, so now we're going to do the end molding process. Let's remove the rubber bands. Kind of common sense. And just like all the other ones, you know, I slowly pull back just a little bit, not to take any wax with it. Let's see. Try to do this so y'all can see. Okay, take the back section out, just like so. And then once again, loosen it up. Don't rush it, just very gently pull it apart. Especially when you start getting to the detailed areas of the face. You don't want to take off a nose or anything. These cat molds are a lot easier than the skulls. They're pretty solid. The skull, I don't know how many noses I broke off of. Or broke, whatever. And here you are. Just clean it up a little bit. Take my little scissors. There you are. I do apologize. Hopefully one day I get better recording equipment. I'm sure these videos aren't the greatest, but that's all I got for right now. If you like videos, please like and subscribe. And I'll have all the links down below. Visit me at my Etsy shop at Twisted Candles Company. And thank you again.